out in strong terms. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says that the crisis has gone beyond the world's worst fears. He's urging Israel to meet its obligations under international law and take immediate steps to protect innocent lives and end starvation. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also condemned Israel's control over aid, calling it a violation of international law. He says blocked Canadian-funded aid must be released and delivered by international agencies. This comes as French President Emmanuel Macron says France will recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in upcoming September. Now we're joined by Joshua Barnes. He's anchor and correspondent at Newsx World.
Two more nations speaking out about the situation in Gaza. We have, of course, seen in recent days further support from international actors talking about the significance of the situation in Gaza for civilians. Of course, pushing for an end to the war, but also looking at this situation surrounding aid. Peter detailing some of the points that Israel are clearly looking at, but international actors as well saying that this situation is untenable given the amount of life that is being lost around these aid centres, reported of course within Gaza, but also the amount of civilian casualties that are still happening within the enclave. That also, just to allude, it is brought to us by the Gaza administration and Gaza Health authorities, because there is no independent reporting in Gaza at the moment because of restrictions on reporters from Israel around the enclave. But it's interesting to see this shift that we are having from some world leaders. Of course, the initial horrific attack that was carried out by Hamas on October the 7th has now seen a conflict over 20 months long with a short ceasefire in the middle, but civilian casualty and displacement that could be in the tens of thousands for deaths, potentially up to 60,000, and also millions of people displaced across the Gaza Strip. Questions being raised continually about the situation on the ground, questions being raised to Israel about how they can limit civilian casualties. Of course, it's a difficult point. Israel say that in this situation, Hamas are hiding amongst the civilians, and it's difficult to determine who is a civilian and who is a member of Hamas. So for Israel, they're almost treating it as we've got to be careful about who we are letting get this aid, of course, who could be hiding amongst civilians. That is a verified claim by many sources, but of course the civilian casualties